Previously on the Neverhood. Welcome back to Let's Play the Neverhood. Let's just lead off from where we left off. There's not too many places to go in that room. Pulling that ring will bring us back down to the room with the Bobby puzzle, and going to the left will just take us down the ladder again. So there's really only one way to go here, and that's into this weird machine with an ominous button blinking and the other one's turned off. So pressing it will obviously teleport us to wherever that it was. So yeah, this thing's a teleporter with 6 locations for us to visit at some point, whenever they become enabled. And get ready for a really weird transition from third person to first person here. It's actually, I know why they did it this way, but I will point it out once we see what happens when we click on this peg. And we've joined the two halves of the Neverhood together. You can get the overall view of the area here. That's pretty much why they did the first person view, is so that you could see the before after of the world itself. And I'm guessing they didn't want to do a whole first person out of the teleporter sequenced, because they already had the third person set up. That whole sequence kind of plays up the fact that, there are two halves of the world that you just joined, and it's pretty neat, but I don't really think that it really matters all that much to the player, as it's never really made perfectly clear that something's off about the world. I mean, well, more off than it already is. The fact that there's a half world missing isn't really noticeable, except for when you do that first cart ride and see that it just goes off into nowhere. If they have left more clues into the fact that halves of stuff is missing, I think it would have been a much more interesting revelation there. This door is a little annoying. If you press this button, it'll close on you, and if you don't click on exiting too fast, it will slap Clayman in the face. It's funny the first time. Once you don't get the hang of it and have it happen to you a couple times, it just gets annoying and frustrating. And there's a map of the Neverhood in the background there. And we have a brand new area for us to explore. This is the other half of the map, and we really didn't take the car to get here, although the car will become important later.
Oh, it's you! Hi! Go away! I gave it to Holler Records! The guy goes and he keeps coming back. I don't get it. I wish he'd just go away. He'll probably do it again. Oh, it's you! Hi! Go away!
That's really all that guy has to say. He's just a little bit of flavor, apparently. But let's explore this new area that we have here. It's pretty self-contained, and there's some interesting bits to look at. And we go through a long walk underneath some weird rainbowy archway, although there's no real colors there, just the tubes of clay. And I wonder if the green tentacle is to be found anywhere here, or maybe even the purple tentacle. Anyway, let's check out this Death Cap looking house here. And looks like one of those poor little sheep things got squashed. There's not really much to do here. There's just one house, or one door to look at, and there's a little sheep to the side that you can't really interact with. You can't go back up the mushroom, so there's only one way to go. And in this cave is nothing but the horizontal coordinates for the cannon, another disc, and another teleporter. That's all that's here. This teleporter gives us a way out of this area, otherwise we'd been stuck here. You might notice that we now have 4 places lit up, even though we only visited 3 of them, but I'll save one of them for later, as we want to complete the area here first. So back to this room. And once again, we have to deal with the door. The trick here is to queue up a click on the door itself as soon as you see Clayman do the animation. Otherwise, you just won't get it. Right, like that. Instead, as I said, wait for Clayman to step on it and click as the animation plays. That will queue up Clayman to walk out the door with no problems. And let's head back over, but let's not visit that mushroom house anymore. There's really not much else to do there. But there was another house to the side. And some other interesting stuff to see here. First up, if we turn around from where we got in, we see some more tentacles, but if we keep turning, there's a little device here. This looks very familiar to the device we saw near the cannon, and in fact it has the same shapes and symbols here. And had we memorized the shapes on the other device, and in which order they come in, we would be able to figure out the password here. But since we didn't, not much else to do here at this point. And since we still have to visit the cannon to enter the horizontal coordinates at some point, we'll get back to this input device in a bit and figure out what exactly to do there with the code given to us on the original one that we saw near the cannon. Anyway, there are two houses here. There's one in the front and one in the back. The one in the back is in the shape of a chip buddy. It's a joke from Earthworm Jim, but it's also a sandwich, I guess, popular in England. It's basically French fries in a toast, basically, or in between two pieces of bread, with butter and ketchup. That's pretty much all it is. In Earthworm Jim, I believe it's a health item. I know that in the cartoon series, I think it was one of Earthworm Jim's favorite food. I could be mistaken. It's been a long time since I've seen it. And I stepped back here because I thought you had to do something with the mouse and the cheese here before you can solve the puzzle that popped up there. But nope. Sucking them up into this tube doesn't really do anything to the device on the previous screen. And I have to say, this is a really clever puzzle. When you come to it, you go, oh god, not another maze. And I guess, through trial and error, you can probably map out this whole sequence of mouse holes and figure out how to get the mouse to the cheese. But there's a much easier way of doing this, if you pay attention. So, we're not really getting anywhere here. At all. But if you notice, the mouse changes direction sometimes. It could be pointing to its nose to the left or to the right. And that's actually where you need to go. You check the holes and see where the mouse nose is pointing. The mouse can apparently smell the cheese and knows which holes to go through. So it's actually a really clever puzzle, in my opinion. Which comes off as being a very annoying puzzle. And I'm sure some people might have never noticed the fact that the mouse is pointing to the right doorway every time. And there we go. That removes the block, and we can enter the Chip Buddy house. Big old piece of butter there on the wall, and there's not too much here. There's just a couple discs and a weird device with a plus-minus symbol, so there must be a battery or power supply or something. And this thingy is pushable. There's no real reason to push it other than to see what happens, because the game hasn't really asked us to do anything with it. But let's go ahead and see what we can do with this thing. Pushing into the power slot changes the angle of the head, and pulling the lever projects an upside-down image of Willy with his thumb up. But we can keep pushing it in that direction, to the right. Not sure why you'd want to until, I don't know. There's no real reason to do it at the moment, but since we're here, might as well just keep pushing and see what happens. And yep, we're back in this room, and there's pretty much only one place it can go. The room to the right doesn't really have anywhere to place it. So all we can really do is put it under the tube and suck it up and see if that does anything. It doesn't seem to do so, but who knows? Maybe it will at some point. And let's head to the room to the right here. Hey, it's another TV and a disc and a wall of squares. I do like the view in this room as you're looking through it through the window with all the little balls around it. And this is a match 2 type deal. Just match 2 of the same images and they stay in place. If you match 2, or if you don't match 2 images, obviously it clears the board. It's coming from a clever puzzle. This is a very lazy, very by the numbers kind of puzzle. And here I am writing down what is where, because this thing is randomly generated every time you play, I believe. And when I did my practice run, I had a whole nother board and a whole nother set of pictures written down, and when I got to this, I realized that it changes every time, and I did not remember that. So, this took me quite a bit of time to finish up. As you can see, there's a picture of Hoborg, a skull, Willie's head, a couple of fun things here, but I do cut out most of it. You're not going to see me write down and figure out exactly what each and every square has. I'll just skip to the end and just a few here. And the music is called, I believe, Tired and Frustrating or something in this room. And I think it's pretty apt for how this puzzle will make you feel, because it's just annoying and you know, on par with a couple of the other puzzles in the game, where they're not fun, they don't really challenge you, they just annoy you. And more Hoborg. And trees. And any second now, we're gonna have a skip to the end. And once again, writing down what I saw on the screen, because I need to... There we go. And yep, the whole board's filled up now. 4 squares. It's pretty hard to screw up, although if you do screw up the last 4 squares, you would be kicking yourself pretty hard. And it didn't really seem to do anything. I made a little ding sound that you did something correct, but you don't really notice any changes made by this puzzle solved. This seems to be on par for the course for a lot of puzzles in this area. Alright, I think with that, we have a whole bunch of videos to watch, so let's plug them into the TV and check out the rest of the story here, and I will see you folks next time.
Frozen solid. It seems this crown does more than give you reign over the Neverhood. It's also your secret to life. What a pity.
Glug right about that. Without his crown, Hoborg stuck in a big, helpless sleep. Ooh, that clog scare me. Things look icky, but maybe hope. Maybe. A life seed. Hoborg boo-boo with clog. Clog go all stinky bad, but Willie know what to do. Yes. Ooh, me hope Clog no find out about this.